Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Friday, May 13th. It is Friday the 13th, guys. I think for maybe half of you out there, that means nothing. But here in the U.S., Friday the 13th is a crazy, scary day, or at least it used to be. I feel like as you get older, it's less and less exciting. But I just remember in school growing up, like I just feel like at the beginning of the school year, it was something that we did like in class. We would sit down, look at the calendar, and see like, are there going to be any Friday the 13th? Ooh, it's close. Thursday the 13th in October, but not Friday the 13th. And like there'd be the one, and we'd get all excited, and we'd have like a countdown for it. But I don't know. As I've gotten older, I care less and less about it. Although I did see one kind of like lone tweet out there from like someone that's a doctor. He's like, I practice evidence-based medicine, but as an ER doc, I fear Friday the 13th. So I thought that was kind of funny. But other than that, like, does the Friday the 13th bother you guys at all? It just kind of snuck up on me this year. Usually I have it like mapped out ahead of time. But yeah, we'll get into it. But first, let's say hi to everyone listening on the podcast on the audio-only version. Hopefully you're having a good run out there today or a good commute. If you're driving and listening to this, hopefully you got the windows down because it's a beautiful day out. You're just enjoying the summer-like spring weather, whatever it is. Hopefully you're having a good day. And everyone watching this on YouTube later, but not live, welcome to you guys as well. Hopefully you got a nice beverage to relax to. I've got some more noon in the cup because it's still hot here in Chicago, and I'm just absolutely insatiably thirsty. All right. Let's see who we got here. Frank says, sorry I had to miss the discussion yesterday because we talked about what's the purpose of having repeats that are longer than, what did you say, Frank? 2 minutes? He says, but I really feel like the goal of 1K repeats is, if the goal of 1K repeats is psychology, you'd be doing better doing long progressions and similar for central governor improvements. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. He says, Frank goes on to say, the issue with 1K repeats for central governor is that you know it's going to be over in 1K, whereas if you know it's going to get harder, that's what will get you to be able to push in the marathon. Yeah, I think that the goal of doing the kind of like psychological pushes for me is, how do you simulate what the mind is going to do when the body is feeling fatigued without actually getting the body to run 20 miles at marathon pace first, right? And so the way to do that, to accelerate the fatigue without putting in 20 miles of wear and tear on the body at marathon effort, is to do something that's harder than marathon effort. So that's kind of one thing. But I do think that there's physiological benefit to running. It looks like, I don't know, I don't know if it's a reflection. It looks like there's something like, I think it's a reflection in my eye, but it looks like there's something in my eye. I don't feel it. Anyway, sorry. Stop mid-sentence there looking at my own reflection. But I do think that there is a benefit to doing longer threshold repeats. I mean, some people do like tempo runs that are like 4 or 5 miles long. That also seems like a lot to me. That seems like that is pretty rigorous and puts a lot of wear and tear on the body. So that's why I do repeats. But I'm happy to be corrected. But I feel like today I did 2 sessions this week of threshold repeats. I mean, some people are really getting into the Canova system where he does like somewhat fast 10K, almost like threshold. So it's slow for a 10K, but you're running at threshold for a 10K in the morning. And then in the afternoon, he does like kilometer repeats at threshold again. So people are really doubling down on threshold. I've been liking to include threshold repeats in my training for a long time. So I'd love to learn more about it. I always do. But that's kind of my understanding so far. All right. Let's see who else we got here. We got Martha says, with a wave emoji, says, I've hated missing so many live streams, but I'm happy I can catch at least parts of some and say hi. Well, good to see you, Martha. Happy to see you here. Terrence Hui says hi. Andrew says, is there no sound? There's no sound? You guys not hearing sound? I think you guys are hearing me. Okay. I think it's just Andrew not getting sound. Sean Devlin says, happy Friday, everyone. Rest day today with a wave emoji, but excited to test drive some Brooks Catamounts on the trails tomorrow. That's a fun shoe. You know, I was just thinking about the Catamounts a little while ago because someone's been messaging me on Instagram. I don't remember his name, but I get a lot of like shoe requests. Like, what would you recommend? And a lot of times, that question, the way it's posed to me, it's like very confusing. And typically, my first response, my gut response is like, get a cross trainer. Don't buy a running shoe. So this person, I'll wrap it and connect it to the Brooks later. The person, like, asked me like, I want a shoe that's good for long runs, sprints, gym, and playing cricket. Like gym, like weight training and playing cricket. What do you recommend from Brooks? And so I'm like racking my brain, and I'm like, well, my first gut is to kind of like recommend to you the Brooks Ghost. I figure Daily Trainer is probably like the best answer. Not too tall, not as tall as like the Glycerin, for example. But like for a long run, do you really want the Hyperion Tempo? And if someone's really like someone's idea of a long run who wants a running shoe to do all those things is probably very different than my idea of a long run. So they're probably not going to appreciate the Hyperion Tempo. So I'm saying Brooks Ghost. And I'm like, I can't resist. So at the end of that, like I send a second message. I'm like, but really what you're asking for are some like the things that would make a good long run shoe make for a terrible gym shoe. So your question is really difficult to answer. And so he responds and he goes, so no recommendation? And I'm like, well, I did recommend the Brooks Ghost. Are you looking for a second recommendation? And he goes, yes. So I'm like, okay, fine. Brooks Glycerin. So I was tempted to recommend the Brooks Catamount because I actually think that might also fit pretty well for what he's looking for, but I just had no idea how to answer to him. Yeah. So there's that. Jackie says, hey, Mike, are you uploading a video about your travel plans to New York next week? I don't know if I'll make a video about it. So I'm actually going to be talking to Ben later today after the live stream today because we're going to figure out some plans for what to do. Because I don't know if he wants to do like a really big meetup group run. I think he's worried about it taking too much like time. After all, he is a fast runner and he's trying to run a fast time. So I think, he's trying to protect his race kind of thing. So I'm just going to kind of follow his lead, but I'll talk to him later today to kind of figure out more of that. And then kind of depending on what Ben wants to do, I'll kind of fill in the rest of the weekend kind of after that. I'm not sure. I also my main reason, the two co-equal reasons are to see Ben and Sarah, but also to see my parents too. So I do want to spend a lot of time at home. So I can't spend like the entire weekend running around, but I would like to get in like a long run, that kind of thing. I don't know when I'll do that. So I'm not sure. So I gotta still kind of figure all that out. Leona had a beautiful 10-miler in Northern California. There was bunny, deer, flowers blooming, and catching up with trail friends. That sounds like a really great day. That sounds amazing. Ray Sollers, happy joggers here. Good to see you, Sarge. He says, hi, Co. Glad to rejoin the gang after a long absence. Hopefully you're doing well. All right. Let's see. Runner Will is here. He says, hello. Good to see you, Will. And sorry, it looks like I missed a whole bunch of stuff here. I'm trying to scroll through really quick. Normally, I kind of just will scrub through to the end, but it looks like I missed some stuff. Let's see. All right. Well, if I miss something, you guys will let me know. I'm sorry. Lou says that Ben said you actually said that you were coming on the vlog. Yeah, but I don't know what he wants to do. So, that's something that we talked about a long time ago. So, yeah. Let's see. Sober Gummy says, I need a shoe recommendation for 400-meter hurdles, taking out the trash, bouncing on the trampoline, 50-mile ultra, and my job as a firefighter. I don't read the comments before I start reading. I'm kind of like Ron Burgundy that way. I'll just start reading it. But that was pretty. I didn't know where that was going. I was like, "You want a shoe recommendation for the 400-meter hurdles? Have you seen the channel?" I don't know how to recommend spikes all that well. Yeah, sometimes that's how it feels. I also get a lot of. I don't run at all. Like I get a lot of requests, like, and I appreciate it, and I try to answer them the best I can. I'm not like teasing the person. It's a very real person that's trying to get a real answer, and I'm doing the best I can. But sometimes it's kind of stumps me because I'm like, is a running shoe the best solution for this? Because some people are like, yeah, I don't run at all, but I stand on my feet all day on concrete. So I'm like, well, maybe get a basketball shoe. That might be better. Because like, I love my running shoes, and some of them are very, very comfortable, but they're comfortable for running. What's comfortable for running is different than what's comfortable for standing a lot of times. You know, my mom is my mom here. My mom has a pair of Skechers shoes, Skechers walking shoes that she absolutely loves. So I'm like, I don't know. I might start recommending that for people that want a walking shoe recommendation. All right. Joshua Ribel says, happy Friday the 13th. Got my easy 4.5 miles in before the heat kicked in today. Now enjoying a Stone IPA. Oh, that sounds nice. Recently starting doing repeat workouts suggested by Garmin, and I enjoy them. Good. There you go. I can go for an IPA. I don't know if I'm going to be doing, well, see, today I'm super excited because in the summertime, they'll block off the streets down where all the restaurants are a couple blocks over. You can just walk down the middle of the street. They set out tables, and there's a lot of outdoor dining. It's super fun. And I just found out today that this weekend is one of those weekends. So we'll probably go out to eat this weekend. Very excited about it. It just means I don't have to cook, which is always a nice thing. And I'll probably have a beer or two. But I did have a workout today. So tomorrow's not a workout day. So kind of green light there. But tomorrow is the big run with my daughter. So we're going to have to get up early and stuff. I mean, I'm not racing, but I don't really want to. No, I'm not going to feel miserable if I have a couple beers. Maybe I'll have some IPAs today. Yeah, there we go. All right, Jonathan says, Mike, looking for a shoe to walk on the beach with, do strides in, rock climb with, and have a steel toe cap for work. Any suggestions? The steel toe cap is tricky because, as far as I can tell, the only shoes that have steel toes are steel toe boots. So I think that's it. Eric says he's no run today, and I am twitchy. Hashtag hates tapering. Oh, boy. Yeah. I mean, I think tapering this time of year is really hard because the weather's really nice. Fun to get out there. There's so many people out on the lakefront right now. Just running. It's like high traffic running because just everyone's out there. It's like, it makes me wonder, where are all these people normally? But I'm guessing like a lot of them are probably hopefully taking some personal time off of work or something, you know? Yeah. New Betcher says the Air Max 90 is a great standing around shoe, though I guess it was a serious running shoe a few decades ago too. You know what I was very disappointed in for like a standing around shoe? The Air Max 270. So Nike had sent me a pair of the Air Max, no. What was it? 720. There was the 270 that had the big air bubble around the back, and it looked like a running shoe. And in Chicago, you see a lot of people running in them. But then there was the one that had big air bubble like in the front too. And I had a pair of those, and mine were triple black, and they looked pretty great. And every time, the only time I got compliments on the shoes were from security guards, and they always asked me, are those comfortable? And I was like, because you could see there's airbags in front, airbags in back, triple black, so security guards could wear them. And I was like, they look more comfortable than they are. Because the toe box was like a running shoe toe box. And it was like, after like an hour in the shoe, I was like, I want to take them off. So that was a disappointing one. I've never had an Air Max 90. I've never had the Air Max 90. I've never had like the Air Max, what are they, the 97s? That one either. I'm still waiting for the time when like Nike tries to move the Vapor Max back into like the actual running shoe category. I would love to see that. It's something that I've been kind of advocating for a long time, but I don't think it'll ever happen. Yeah. New Betcher says 720 was the air all around. Yeah, that one. That was disappointing. I think that the 270s were actually more comfortable. And PG1980 says, just bought some new flip flops. Looking forward to going for a run later. You know, I think this is going to be the year of like. I mean, I love my flip flops. I love slides. I love sandals. I love everything, and I'm super excited for this summer. I don't know where they are, but I remember from TRE in Texas seeing there were Hoka slides that looked amazing. They looked so comfortable. They didn't look like what are they, Orca, whatever, the recovery, like those are disgusting. But these ones looked really, really comfortable and they looked great. I don't know when they're coming out. They should be, they should be out now. Why aren't they out now? And then Believe in the Run posted some shots from Decker's Labs. It is a very similar looking slide, like an adjustable, had like buckles on it. Adjustable kind of slide. I'm like, I want those. Then there's the Asics ones, which I can't talk much more about, but good ones. So, I mean, it's going to be, for those of you who love slides, this is going to be a good summer. Dad Al says they do have some new cool colors for the Hoka slides. All right. Well, I'm going to have to take another look. Yesterday, after the live stream, I did buy a pair of the Ultra Vanish Carbons. Those are on sale now, so I'm excited to get those in for some testing. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'd be super excited to buy some Hoka slides after the live stream today. So hopefully that's going on. All right. We got Travis McCullough says, long story short, I'm running the Cleveland Marathon next Sunday, the 22nd. Third marathon this year. Wow. And then rest, then a month. And wait, what does that say? Third marathon this year and my less than a month since my last full race. Oh, so that means it's less than a month since your last one? Anyway, it seems like you've been running a lot, Travis. Good luck next week, though. Cleveland Marathon. I don't know anyone who's run the Cleveland Marathon. I'm trying to think. I don't know anyone who has. Frank said, I had Air Maxes of some variety for the 1993 cross-country season. I do remember quite a bit. I mean, I graduated from high school in 97, so, like, the Air Max 97s were, like, the shoe to have, I think, if I'm remembering it correctly. I remember, like, just, like, a lot of the kids that were not my family had the Air Maxes, and I was very envious of it, always. I was like, those guys are real runners. They got the good shoes. Martha says, Hoka slides and UFOs are both awfully heavy when you compare them to Crocs. I have a pair of Crocs slides. I wore them yesterday for a little bit. I love those. They don't look like Crocs, but they are Crocs, and I enjoy them a lot. It's going to be hard to kind of like get me off of those because I do really enjoy them quite a bit still this year. You know what else I was thinking today? I was listening to the Believe in the Run podcast on my cool down on my workout today, and they were talking about the Solomon CLE collab shoe. It's I don't remember what shoe it is, but the print looks like an animal print. There's two. There's one that's like purple animal stripes of some sort, and then there's another one that looks like a white leopard. So like white with like black like spots on it all over it. And every time I look at it, I just think that it looks like a racing Croc. I don't know what it is about it. I don't love the look of that collab. It doesn't resonate. I think maybe I would like it more in person, but from what I've seen online, I'm like, dude, it just looks like Crocs. So I just don't know. Terrence says Skechers has Hyperburst foam slides. I bet they're pretty lightweight. I was not aware of this, Terrence. I might have to pick those up. Yeah, I might have to. Yeah, Eric says it's the Pulsar Trail Pro. Is that what it is? Pulsar? CLE Solomon. It looks sharp. Sold out my size, sadly, but fine. I mean, I think they're going to sell a lot of them. I mean, I think with pretty much anything with the CLE name on it is going to sell out. I mean, they do make great stuff. But that's one that just doesn't resonate with me. Plus, Solomon also doesn't always agree with me, you know? I wish it did. But it never seems to. And I always just feel... It always makes me feel insecure to run in a Solomon. Because I feel like, well, it's because I'm not a good enough trail runner. That's why I don't like any of the things that Solomon does, because I'm not really a trail runner. That's kind of how it feels. Sometimes. New Betcher says, Adidas has boost slides, but I still feel like I like the classic Adissage with the little rubber nub things. I feel like that's peak slide. The little rubber nubs, it feels like one of those massage mats that you can stand on. I have a little inflatable kind of like disc that I would use for a lot of my kind of like knee prehab type of stuff. And it's got the little nubby things on the top. And I just leave it around the house. So that way, every time I walk by it, I just stand on it. And it gives my foot like a little bit massage, hoping to stimulate more blood flow, and healing there, So I definitely like that. It's just Mark says, just got some Zero Z-Trail sandals. Is that that's the zero drop? That's the minimalist shoe brand, right? Super comfy, thin, and flexible. Right? Is that what it is? Zero? I'm not sure. Khalif Ryan says, Kafuzi, any suggestions to stay safe if you have to get in a run at 1 or 2 a.m. when it seems like police sirens are going on all around? Generally, I would keep a safe distance from groups. Yeah, I mean, if there's police sirens on around, I guess arguably that's the safest time to be running because police are on the scene. But I guess it would depend if it's an ongoing developing situation or if it's been resolved. I go to bed super early, so I'm not frequently up at night, and I dislike night running. So I'm not the best person to ask. But my general tip would be, keep your guard up, maybe turn the headphones off or keep them real low so you can hear what's going on around you. And if anyone asks you for help, just keep running because it's a trap. That's my take on it. Offer like, hey, I can call the police for you if you want, but just keep running. That's what I would say. All right, let's see. Do it. I mentioned Friday the 13th, and then I think I kind of skipped over everyone that said something about Friday the 13th. So I'm trying to think, do I have any, if I have any running superstitions? I don't really think I have too many running superstitions. I don't even always follow the rule of nothing new on race day. Because I've run with new stuff plenty of times on race day. I've run with brand new shoes on race day before. I think for my second or third marathon, I think maybe my second Chicago, I bought or maybe it was I don't think it was my first Chicago. Maybe it was my first Chicago. I think I bought a pair of Pegasus and took them straight out of the box on my feet and then ran the Chicago Marathon that way. So I've done that. So I've definitely broken that rule. I don't I'm trying to think. Eric says, superstition number 1, no sudden moves after a taxing long run. I like that one. That's a good one. But yeah, I don't know. Are there any running superstitions? Stuff that definitely doesn't make scientific sense, but stuff that you got to do. I know a lot of people like to eat and I guess it's not super Friday the 13th related, but I guess some people like to make sure they eat the same things, but I don't think that's a superstition. I think that's more on the lines of ritual. When I think of weird sports superstitions, I think about baseball players that will either every time drag their foot through the foul line as they leave the dugout, or will always hop over it, one or the other. Or I remember some of the guys would never wash their split shorts during the cross country season, their race shorts, and I was like, that's just absolutely disgusting, guys. So I remember stuff like that, super gross stuff, they wouldn't wash a pair of socks all season long. And I'm it's not a pair of socks they ran in every day, but still. Yeah, that's some of the. Yeah. Adam says, when you believe in things you don't understand, people suffer. Oh, that sounds ominous. Sounds very ominous. Jonathan Crossley says, I only wore black socks when playing tennis. Oh, okay. I guess I could see that. Like, I only have black socks. I guess I have 2 pairs of blue socks because one time I went into a running store and asked for winter running socks, and these are the 2 that they gave me. Not they gave me. They were like, buy these, and I was like, okay. Um, and then let's see. That's about it. Yeah, all the other socks are black or like mostly black. So I guess is that a superstition? Apparently, that's a superstition for Nel Rojas. Nel Rojas only runs in black socks for racing, apparently. But I'm like, well, what color are your socks normally? Like, yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Steve Zervo says, as far as like new things on race day, night of my first marathon, I ate a huge beef Wellington, and following up with that, an EPR. Yeah. All right. Adam's previous quote was a line from this song "Superstition" by Steve Wonder. There we go. Khalif says, superstitions. I know a lot of runners who start off a race with right foot, right step forward first. Oh. Well, yeah. I mean, because most people, if you're towing the line, left foot forward, right foot back. So your first foot step forward is going to be your right foot. So that makes sense. Okay. Is that a superstition, though? I'm not sure that's a superstition. But, like, I don't keep track of that when I'm in, like, a road race. Because you're just kind of, like, you walk, jog a little bit, and then you start. Because it's a rolling start, you know? I don't know. It's just Mark says, in high school, all of us cross-country team only wore gray T-shirts under our singlets, and it didn't help. I love it. But I'm glad that you guys, like, wanted to will it to become, like, a thing. You know? Albert says, like, running superstition, hopping over cracks in the ground or seams on the sidewalk. Oh, you might be doing a lot of hopping depending on where you are, though. Interesting. Yeah, Jonathan Crosby says, not a superstition, but ritual. I always bounce the ball exact same number of times before a first serve, 3 bounces, and a second serve. Oh, just once? Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see that. I think that's a lot like when people shoot free throws. You know, it's kind of like spin the ball, bounce, and then get into your shot motion. I think that it helps your body to get into that muscle memory, you know. I don't think that's a superstition. I think that those things kind of help. The only time that it's weird is when it's just like, oh, that third bounce didn't feel right, so let me start over. That's when it's like, okay, now this is becoming a problem, you know. Yeah. Dan Johnson talking about recommendations. He said, I had someone ask me about a camera lens that would be good for telephoto, bird pictures, and also landscape. Vastly different lenses. Yeah, those don't go well together. Yeah, I don't think. Danny Runman says his running superstition is finishing a run once the mile clicks over. He can't leave it at 95. I finished my run today, I think, at 12.94. Let me check. And now I'm super annoyed because I forgot that it was Friday the 13th. Yeah. Today's run, 12 point. Let's see if I can get this in focus. I think the light's going to be too bright for it too. 12. Yeah, you can't see it, but 12.94 miles I finished on the day. I should have finished on 13.13 for Friday the 13th. I feel really bad at it, but normally I don't care. I'm not as bad as Ben Johnson, who seems to actively try to troll people by finishing at 0.99. But I don't. I'm like, when I'm done running, I'm done running. You know, I don't care about the daily mileage. I care about the weekly anyway. But I definitely understand that a lot of people, and I'm not saying I've never done it. I've certainly done it before, where I've run around the block once to get it over the click over the mile marker. But yeah, not every time anymore. Philip Rudd says you always have to make your last basketball shot on the driveway. That's a given. That's definitely a given. You can't leave on a missed shot. That's weird. That would be really weird. And people did like. What would be harder for you guys? For those of you guys that played like basketball as a kid or growing up, or if you play basketball now, finishing a run at 0.94 miles or missing the last shot before you went inside playing basketball. I think leaving the 0.94 for me is easy. Missing the last shot, I don't think I've actually played basketball in decades at this point. I'm trying to think. I'm not going to count water basketball, like when I played it in a pool, like at a water park. But yeah, it's been a long time. So I think, but even then, I don't think if I was like shooting around, I can't leave without making my last ones. Frank says he folds when you get aces and eights. Do you really? You always fold when you get aces and eights? What if the flop's gonna be an ace and an eight? What if the flop shows two eights? You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, that would be hard for me. I feel like you always got to hit the blind. For me, you guys got to hit the blind when you got an ace. If you got a face card underneath there, you gotta at least see what the flop is. Melvin Umang says, "Yo, what's going on, CoFam? Greetings from cloudy, windy Winnipeg. Definitely a treadmill taper run kind of day. Funny enough, wondering what brand model of sunglasses you were wearing in the IG story today. Oh, I don't remember what those are. Blenders? They were ones that I bought because I was like, I wanted to get a pair of sunglasses that look like triathlete sunglasses. So I looked up like the kind that are like just like the cover of the entire face. They look like like ski goggles, but they're sunglasses, you know. So I think Blenders is what they are. I'm not sure. They were like $50, more than Gooders, but not quite as expensive as like if I'd gotten like really nice cycling glasses. Those are okay. They slide down a lot. They don't really fit the curve isn't right on my face. So like the fit isn't exactly right. So I constantly am like pushing them up as I run. So they're okay. But I could, I'm debating whether or not to get a nicer pair of that. Travis says he has to make the last shot. Adam says, whatever. He just lives life recklessly. I'm fairly low on the OCD scale. So you could just walk away from both of those things. I don't know if I could do that. Petra says, Ben Johnson's post drive me crazy with the .99s. I think it's so funny. I love it. I love that he does it. I love that it gets people riled up. I absolutely love all of it. The whole thing is great. Shannon says, I always try to go over the mile marker when stopping, but I can't stand it at the end of the week when it's like $69.99 because then I look back at the weeks. It looks like 69 when it was basically 70. That drives me a little bit bonkers. I will, I guess I haven't really looked to check on that before, but I'm thinking like, let's say I've got a Sunday, let's say it's Sunday because my weeks go from Monday to Sunday. And let's say I've got like about, 13 or 14 miles on deck and I'm 13 or 14 miles away from hitting that next round number. So let's say I've got like 56 miles so far that week. And I've got like a 14 mile or so run that I want to do. I'll make sure if I need to hit 14.1, I'll make sure I know that ahead of time. I've definitely done that to make sure that I'm not at 69.99. That'd be tough. CV76 says no respect for kids who wore the Jordans but can't play ball. I feel like that in this day and age, there's no more like rules about shoes like that, which I suppose in the big scheme of things is a good thing because I don't want kids to feel left out. But like, I mean, maybe it is where I grew up or when I grew up or maybe both. But like I've never worn a pair of Vans before because I just didn't want to be a poser. I mean, I've never wore a pair of Jordans before, but it's because I grew up a Knicks fan, so I don't want to wear Jordans. But like, yeah, if people were like, "Oh, you bought those and you don't even play basketball," like growing up, that would be a problem. I feel like, yeah, I don't know. Scott says, "I can't leave one slice of pizza when we order a whole pie." Yeah, I like that one. I like that one a lot. I enjoy eating pizza. I don't think we ever have a one slice pizza left. I think I would probably eat it just so that way I don't have to deal with the leftovers. So I'm like, no more pizza. I'm just going to eat it all. And Luke Klein says, I always go over on my runs. I do not want to get cheated by Strava. That is something that I also do. Like if I know, going back to like Shannon's example, if I know I needed to get 14 miles, if I needed to like get 14.12 miles, then I wouldn't do a 14-mile run. I would do 14.12. But knowing the Strava adjustment, because sometimes it clicks you down anywhere from like 1/100th to like almost 1/10 of a mile. So I probably won't do more than 1/10 of a mile, but I would definitely make sure I do at least a little bit more than just exactly what I need. Because sometimes Strava will round down somehow, you know. Brendan's here. What's going on, Brendan? He says, how y'all doing? It's been a while. I was about to transition to a new job, so I was working so much getting everything in order. In the end, I ended up staying at my current place. Haha. Well, you know, at least now everything's in order, and it's good to see you now, Brendan. Hopefully you're happy with the situation, though, in either event. But good to see you again. Which is just Mark says, that Strava tax sucks. I've never heard it called the Strava tax. I like that. Adam here just kind of just teasing all of us. He says, if you run in an hour, you run in an hour, whether it's X.99 or X.01. Well, here's the thing. Let's say you've got a loop, though, Adam. I have a feeling I know how you're going to respond. Let's say you've got a loop because you know it takes you about an hour and your goal is to run an hour for the day. And for whatever reason on that particular day, your plan was to run an hour, but you finish it in 58 minutes. Do you run 2 more minutes? Or do you just leave it at 58? I think I'd probably leave it at 58. But I don't know. I feel like it's the same. You know, it's easy to be like, oh, I don't care about miles. But if you're a time runner, then what if it ends on a 58 minutes and 58 seconds? Eric says, I'm going to run 60 minutes in 1 second. Oh, I love it. That's so fun. Very funny. Jonathan Crosby says, Strava always knocks my row volume down despite my concept 2 being linked to it. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't understand for the rowing volume. I think I understand why it happens on running because I use a foot pod and then, or I guess it doesn't matter. Here's the way it happens. So like I have a foot pod and I have the watch. And the watch GPS and the foot pod data all get sent to Strava. But if there's like GPS data, like it'll calculate what your route was based on the raw GPS data. Because both the watch and Strava have their own smoothing algorithms, I think. So I think that's where that happens, if I'm understanding it correctly. So it's kind of like taking like your coordinates and calculating for itself how far you ran rather than taking it at face value, whatever your watch or your foot pod said. So Adam says, as Bill Murray said in Meatballs, it just doesn't matter. New Vetra says, if I get to my house at 13 miles, I'm running right past it for the 0.15 for the Strava buffer. I love it. Oh, man. I love it. Frank says, what if you run for an hour and you're 200 meters from your home? Do you just stop? New Vetra says he would call an Uber because your run is done and you're just going to get a ride home for the last 200. Nice. I love it. I love it. So funny. Let's see, what have we got? Frank says, what are you posing for if you wear Vans? Well, you're posing that you're a skater. I know Vans has made a big pivot since when I was younger. But like, you know, it's like you couldn't just like when I was like Tony Hawk from my recollection got real big when I was in the 3rd grade. So 3rd grade I would have been like 9. So that would have been like 1987 or so is when the legend of Tony Hawk reached the East Coast in New Jersey. And so that's when is that when the movie Gleaming the Cube came out? Gleaming the Cube, Airwalks, Vans, all that started to hit the East Coast. And some kids actually skated. I did not. I tried, and I was never very good at it. I still have never figured out how to ollie, even though I have tried to learn in my 40s and in my 30s and in my 20s. But you could not show up to elementary school in New Jersey public schools wearing Airwalks if you didn't actually know how to skate. That would be a social faux pas. So that was the thing. I guess now everyone wears Vans because they pivoted to more of a fashion brand rather than being purely a skate brand anymore. But still, I guess like those old, for me, those old brand connections are runs deep. I guess that was just me, maybe. Steve Servo says, "I quit skateboarding since I couldn't ollie either." Yeah. Oh. I remember one time, it must have been right around the third, somewhere between like the maybe third or fourth grade. One of the kids, we lived in an apartment complex, and one of the kids who could skate, or at least who owned a skateboard, his dad had bought him a quarter pipe, and he put it just like in a parking lot in the apartment complex, and we were just like, we basically just go up and go down and just ride it. And that's all we ever did. We thought we were like getting here and all this stuff, but like we were just going like a little bit like that. At some point, this kid like fell really hard, and he was bleeding, and we ran. Like he was like limped, and I ran, and we took him back home, and his dad was at home, and his dad's like, "How's the skateboard?" And the kid's like, "Dad, I'm bleeding." He's like, "You'll be fine. I want to know, is that skateboard damaged or not? I paid a lot of good money for that skateboard." So I was like, whoa, this house is very different than my house. So I just thought it was very strange. Very, very strange. That's a memory that has like stuck in my brain as well. I just don't know why, but it's just in there. Adam says, "I quit skateboarding after I broke my leg at 15 years old." Wow. Yeah. See, that was always my fear. I'm just so afraid of like really hurting myself skateboarding in like a really boring way. Like I wasn't even trying to do a trick, but I just like hit a pebble and I fell over kind of thing. I think that's why I'm just too scared to ever get good at it, I think. Jen Morales says, "BMX surfers and cyclists wear Van also." I mean, today they do, and here in my neighborhood, a lot of the moms are wearing Vans. I guess I can't say for sure that they don't skate, but I don't think that they skate. And that's okay. I guess, now it's okay. But it's just something I haven't done. Anthony says, "I think I'm getting back into skating from time to time. I'm just too paranoid it'll affect my running from an injury." Yeah, I mean, I bought a longboard to try to keep up with the kids on the scooters. But since COVID happened, there used to be an area inside the school where the kids could drop off like their bikes or their scooters that they rode to school. But since COVID, they have not reopened that area. So like when the kids scooter to school, I gotta take the scooters back home. So yeah. But otherwise, it would be like a little like caravan of the two kids on the scooters and me on the longboard. That was like the reason I got the longboard, because I was like, this will be the way to do it. But we'll see. CV76 says mom G's in Vans. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I've seen mom jeans in Vans, but I've seen a lot of moms in Vans, a lot of dads in Vans as well. People are just wearing them pretty casually. I see a lot of the kids in Vans. I love the kids. The kids Vans are just amazing. Some of the designs, I think that they're really great. I don't think my kids are really into them, but I don't know, maybe. I feel like that would make a good scooter shoe. Because my older daughter, rather than use like the brake on the back of the scooter, she definitely just drags her foot. I'm like, those are the shoes that you run in. You shouldn't be doing that. Scott wants to know did I have a Razor scooter? No, I mean, I think I'm a little bit too old to have gotten a Razor scooter for myself. My nephews all had many of them. My kids have, is it Micro is the name? I think it's like a European company. They have those scooters. So the younger one has the one where it's like two wheels in the front and then one in the back, and you just lean back and forth, and that's how you steer it. She has that one, and then my daughter used to have that, but she kind of outgrew it. So now she has like a two-wheeled one, but the same company. My wife bought one too, so she could keep up with the kids. But usually, what ends up happening is, the weight limit on my daughter's scooter is big enough for me. So when I take them to school in it, I'll hold onto one scooter and then ride another one, and that's how I get home every day. So. Frank says, if you wanted to signal you were a skater, you had to have a chain wallet. A lot of people had chain wallets that were not skaters. I remember growing up in New Jersey. That didn't necessarily signal skater. I guess at least for us in New Jersey. That was more of like in like the grunge movement, I guess. I'm not sure. New Betcher says, I bring the kids to school on a Razor scooter, and I'm in my 30s. Adidas Superstars are a terrific scooter shoe. Oh, are they? I bet that they would. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Brendan said, there's a skate park right by the side of the track I run at. Every now and then I think about buying a skateboard and going. Then I remember I just injured myself running up a flight of stairs. Every once in a while, like there's a skate park right by the track up here too, a little bit north of Wilson. And today as I was running by it too, I heard these loud sounds and I was like, what is that? What is that? It's construction. And then I realized it was kids at the skate park, which is weird because it's school time, so they should have been in school. But I guess it could have been college kids or kids skipping school. But every time I run by there, I'm like, could I put my longboard in that? I don't know. I don't think that would go well. I'm like, I think that would make a lot of kids really mad if I showed up in there in my daughter's scooter. But I do think it'd be pretty funny just to see like an old dude riding around in a scooter in a skate park. The thing is, that scooter has a really low deck. So I feel like it would bottom out on a lot of stuff. And then it just make me fall all the time. So I probably would get hurt like right away. Shannon said, I had Heelys when I was in college, even though that was 20 years ago. It was still way too late to have Heelys. I appreciate that you went after it, though, and you tried. I was trying to think. There's like a TikTok account that I've been following. And like the whole premise of the entire account is adults should still wear Heelys, even as adults today in 2022. I forget what the name of the account is, but that's kind of the entire account. Kelly says, speaking of something that can injure you, I stopped riding my big cruiser motorcycle as much. Getting injured on that would be terrible to wanting to run more. Yeah. I used to have a motorcycle a long time ago, and then I got rid of it during law school because I was just never riding it. And we also lived we still live in Chicago, so it was like just to get to good riding would take hours, and it was just like it became like a very time expensive hobby. Go figure. Now I'm running for hours every day, but anyway, I decided to get rid of the motorcycle a long time ago. And then my wife and I used to ride it together. And then, we used to think that we would both get motorcycles eventually at some point later in life. But, now at this point, we're like, I guess we're even older now. And so we're like, yeah, if we want to do that and enjoy like motorsport on like the open road, let's just get a convertible. Because then we at least put the kids in there too. Because what are we going to do with the kids if the two of us got motorcycles? We're not going to put our children on the back of the motorcycle. Not to say that you can't, or we weren't going to. So we're like, well, if we do that, let's get a little convertible or something. Her parents have one. My Uncle David, the mechanic, he's got a couple, which makes sense because he's a mechanic. He's also like president of the local Guttenberg Car Club. I don't know if he's president or what. He's always heavily involved. So there's a lot of that on my wife's side. So maybe we'll do that. He says Heelys are a 40 millimeter drop. That's funny. That's so funny. Kurt says you could always get a sidecar. Yeah. My wife's cousin, her husband has an old motorcycle with a sidecar on it, and they've had their daughter in there before. It's super fun. It's super super fun. It's like a World War II era motorcycle, and so it's just like a little jalopy, but it is amazing. I would love to get. I mean, I wish that they would bring those back. Like, can you imagine if they made new ones? Like if BMW started making bikes with sidecars again, that'd be pretty crazy. And Sean says, whenever I see old dudes on the tricycle motorcycles, it just seems like a Viagra commercial is about to happen. I do not like those. I am not a fan. I am not a fan of those. I'm like, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll do one more and then I got to get going. Natsuku says, hey, good luck to your daughter this weekend. Thanks so much. I figured out the bib pickup situation. We're going to pick it up on race day tomorrow morning. We just got to go to a specific spot and get it there. And then, I mean, it's going to be an endurance race for her. It's 5K. It's longer than she's ever run at once. Judging by some of our previous runs, I think it's probably going to take her. It's going to take her at least 45 minutes, if not longer. But we'll see. I mean, she might surprise me. I mean, it is a race, so I'm going to push her a little bit towards the end. But I'm going to really try to hold her back. I feel like a lot of the other kids her age are just going to jump out at the gate. And I'm going to be like, nope, not us. We'll catch them later. So we'll see. See how it goes. All right. There will be a video Sunday. I think the video Sunday is going to be comparing Metaspeed Sky 1 versus Metaspeed Sky Plus. So that'll be Sunday. And then I will see you guys again on Monday for the live stream. We'll have to do something fun for the mukbang. I have a couple of things in mind. So hopefully I'll see you then. In the meantime, have a really fun weekend of running out there, everybody, and be safe. Thanks.